Okay everyone, this is Avatar Sage 7 back again with another video guide really on how to upgrade your gear in Destiny 2, which is a bit of an issue for new players because there's really not much of an explanation in the recent New Light starter campaign, tutorial campaign for new players actually. So I just wanted to help out those new players out there by talking about how to upgrade that gear in the most obvious fashion, in the most explicit fashion that the other guides that Destiny has they don't really talk about it in clear detail unless you accidentally run across it. Hell, I didn't even figure it out until I actually looked myself within the game because it's like so much articles out there that like glut the whole thing that you can't really tell. So to hop into it, I'm gonna go into my Titan, who does have some gear that needs to be upgraded at some point. Now, if I point you to the blue gear right here, you'll see the standard stats, but if I actually right-click it or left-click it, depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you'll see that, oh, this blue gear doesn't even have additional mod slots on it. In fact, it's set in terms of its weapon perks anyway, so you can increase range or increase range with slightly increased handling. So this piece of blue gear doesn't even have mod upgrades. But that's weapons, so if it was a blue armor, which I can then transfer as well, so that you can see, obviously I don't need to upgrade a helmet, so this is where the mods are actually adjustable. So on armor, the amount of mod slots, this one already starts with a random amount of mod energy called 5 energy, so it can fit 5 energy worth of mods, armor mods anyways. And so this is different with weapons. Blue weapons automatically have just their perks. They can't really have any additional upgrades like legendaries do. And armor has these kind of a mod slot number, and each mod takes a certain number of slots. And so you have to, you can pay additional legendary shards, enhancement cores in order to increase the amount of mods that you can fit into a piece of blue armor. And this also applies to purple legendary armor, so this is rare blue, purple legendary, and then you have exotic. I have no legendary armor on this specific alt, but I do have a legendary weapon, and legendary weapons themselves, they don't have any additional weapon perks beyond what they come with, unlike legendaries, but you can upgrade the strength of the weapon. So to do that, you need to get upgrade modules, which means you have to go to Banshee in the tower here. And you have to grind for a lot of the currencies, map currencies, in order to get it. So not only do you need legendary shards, which comes from breaking down purple legendary items, you need enhancement cores, which you get from his quests, his weekly bounties and whatnot. And you need, of course, here I have 1295 microphasic data lattice, and this is essentially map currency that you need also to purchase upgrade modules. So I have a lot of spin metal leaves from the Cosmic Drum, so I'm going to use this, and I'm going to purchase one of these upgrade modules.
Make us proud. Every little bit helps. Trust
so
me.
The standard way of upgrading the item, like I said before, is to use like a higher power level item like 1275 to upgrade a lower power level item like my exotic 1270. And this is a standard way of doing it. You get the upgrade module that I just showed you. You go over to the item in question, and then you hit F. You hold F until the dismantle is complete. So this is to prevent you from accidentally dismantling something you don't want to dismantle. So I'm going to hit F until it's complete. It's infused. So what used to be 1270 power is now 1275 power from the weapon I infused into it. So that's the primary way of upgrading the power level of the gear, blue gear for sure, which is the only way to do, not blue gear, sorry, but legendary gear and exotic gear. They both follow the exact same method of upgrade by taking an item of higher level and then taking an upgrade module and upgrading to that power level. And now the cheaper way is if you have you've been grinding a lot and you have copies of the same weapon, you won't be able to do it so easily for exotics, because it's hard to get multiple copies of exotics that easily. Usually it's done by one quest for a character or something like that, unless it's awarded during a season or something as a bonus. So I got Tiku's Divination on all three of my alts because it was a seasonal exotic for those who actually purchased the game and all of the expansions. And Risk Runner was a new light quest to get it. That you had to complete a really annoying jumping puzzle to get, and I did this for all three of my alts. So I have 3 copies of Risk Runner, but each one of them used it because it's an excellent submachine gun and it's an excellent bow. So the cheap way is to get a higher level copy of the same weapon, and so this character already has this kind of setup where I already had copies that I got from my other alts, and I transferred it over using Destiny Inventory Manager or the Vault. And you take the higher level one that you think is crappy or has stats you don't like. So I have the one I preferred using on this guy is Pulse Monitor and Rampage version. It's not really the best, but Rampage is good for damage. And so this is the one I want to keep, but this is the one I want to destroy, which has Pulse Monitor Elemental Capacitor. Elemental Capacitor is meh on a grenade launcher, and Pulse Monitor is only useful if you can drop to like really low health, and it reloads your magazine and weapon really fast, even when the weapon is stowed. So obviously I want to keep this one because Rampage is a good stat. You know, I would prefer to have both awesome stats, but obviously I haven't found one yet. So this one is the one I want to keep. And so because I have 2 copies, and one is the higher level version, and the higher level version is the one that I don't like, I'm going to go to Behringer's Memory. I'm going to go to the higher level version of it, and you'll see that instead of costing upgrade modules like you would normally if it's a weapon that's not the exact same duplicate of the one you want to upgrade, you select one that is the exact duplicate. Like, so this is it's the same model, it's just different perks on it. You'll see that the cost of upgrading is actually extremely cheap. It's only 1,000 Glimmer, and Glimmer you earn in this game like crazy. Like, it's so easy to get capped out Glimmer, it's ridiculous. So this is so cheap that I have no problem upgrading Behringer's Memory. And now what used to be 1265 or 12 something 69 is now 1271 power. So that's an example, the cheapest way of upgrading a piece of legendary gear, which is probably what you're going to be using for most of your characters in Destiny, because you can only wield one exotic on any one character, and one exotic armor piece and one exotic weapon. Now I have no exotic armor, and so most of your characters will almost always be using legendaries that have to be upgraded every season. They might be changing that for season 14 so that it's a lot easier to upgrade to the 10 power levels instead of 50. And so upgrading legendaries is pretty much like the standard method of continually upgrading the power on your character. So I've just upgraded Behringer's Memory, which isn't currently being used on the character himself. It's not equipped. And so another example, again, if I want to, is I have Fallen Guillotine with Energy Transfer and Counterattack, and apparently it's not considered. The other perks on it aren't amazing. Oh, it has Jagged Edge.
I won't forget everyone we lost. I won't.
One of these is the one I want to keep. Relentless Strikes is the one that allows me to recharge sword ammo every 3 light attacks. So obviously I'm going to keep that one and skip Energy Transfer. Energy Transfer simply generates class abilities while blocking, and since you're using a sword, you're probably going to be killing rather than blocking all the time. So I'm going to not keep the higher level version and upgrade this one, like I said before, a lot cheaper, and it's the exact same model. So I'm going to transfer that, and now my Fallen Guillotine is 1273. So as you can see, those are the 2 methods of upgrading the power level of your gear, whether it's armor or weapons. For armor, blue or legendary, blue or purple, blue for rare, purple for legendary, you can see that you can upgrade these mods.
I can work with this.
The mod capacity simply by going here and holding on this hammer to apply another one, and it costs enhancement cores and legendary shards. I usually don't spend too much on this because unless I absolutely have like a mod set that I must have on a certain piece of armor, like specific
It
mods
all
that I
runs
must
together,
use,
doesn't it?
because it's really expensive to
Maybe
spend
me.
enhancement cores to increase mod capacity on armor.
Show them that they
And of
can't
course,
mess with
weapons
us.
don't really have much except legendaries can be masterworked, which is this. So rare blues do not have this ability. They only have these weapon perks that you can sometimes slot. And these are all randomly generated per weapon, which is why this is a looter shooter, because the loot can always be totally different. And so you can also spend legendary shards, enhancement cores, ascendant prisms, things like that on increasing specific stats
Lost too
on
much when the
weapons.
Red
This one
Legion hit
increases
us.
handling. Handling is how fast you can draw this weapon and whatnot. Stability is how well this thing shoots in a very closed, like how well does it place its bullets together so that you can get really precise shots. So
Did you?
obviously I don't really
No.
care that much
You've
about
been there a
handling.
while.
This
Yeah.
weapon's already got extremely high handling as a submachine gun actually, so
No
I'm not going to
substitute
worry
for
too
a
much
full
about that.
magazine.
So that's it, really. If you found this video to be useful, please leave a like, sub, or
We'll be watching.
better yet, support me on Subscribestar as well. And let me know if you have any other ideas of
Out
videos
in the world, huh?
that you'd like to see or information you'd like to know about that might be a bit more obscure or more difficult for the casual player to experience or learn about. And talk to you soon.